wish I could show you a picture of my first companion. She was fired up with ambition, and she really made me go to work. And every day I had to memorize at least one scripture, and more, 2 or 3 if possible. So she was really making me work. And the first day we went tracting, you know what tracting is. Mm-hmm. You go have a certain area of the city marked off. The elders decide where you'll be tracting so they can keep track of you. And anyway, we go from house to house and introduce ourselves and tell them where we're from and why we're here at their door. We want to talk to them and tell them about our church. Oh, well, we're Catholics here. We don't want to hear about Mormons. And that's the way it was. But you know, when we go over the district about the 3rd time, oh, hello, I remember you. You were here a week ago or so. And I said, yeah, that's right, we were. And first thing you know, I said, boy, you must be making a cake. Oh, I'm making cookies. Would you like to come in and have a cookie? And that's the way it starts. Yeah. And
how many people did you baptize on your mission, Grandma?
0.
0?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But one lady that I really enjoyed meeting her, she was an older lady, and she was kind of feeble, and I said to my companion once, I says, she's washing the dishes. Why don't we go and help her wash her dishes while we talk to her? And my companion spoke up, I didn't come on a mission to wash dishes. And I thought, well, but then we told the lady that we were having a ward conference, and we sure would like to have her come. And she was there, even though we didn't help her with her dishes. And then they sent us to work in a different town, and never did see her, but I keep thinking about her all the time, wondering, I hope somebody got back to her, because she was a nice lady.
I'll say this about Grandma, that even after her mission, that she kept on being interested in giving away copies of the Book of Mormon. When she'd go on an airplane, or several times, I think, she'd give copies of the Book of Mormon away.
Yeah, let me tell you about that. I went over to Austin, Texas, because Kathy, my daughter, lives in Austin, had a new baby, and I went over to help her. And as I was over there for a week, and then I caught the plane to come home. And when I got on this plane, there was a lady reading a magazine and a man in the newspaper, and I had to sit in between. So I thought, well, can't talk to anybody, I'll have to read my Book of Mormon. I reached in my bag and got my Book of Mormon. Sit there and read a little bit. I was thinking about what I'd read, and this lady said, what are you reading? I said, oh, it's my Book of Mormon. And she said, what's a Book of Mormon? Never heard of it. I said, well, this is a history of the forefathers of the American Indians. She said, well, that's interesting. Tell me more. And so I kept talking about the Book of Mormon, telling her one story and then another, and when it's coming into Phoenix, she said, "Could I have that book?" I said, "Sure." And I gave it to her and wrote my name and address and phone number, but I never heard from her. So I hope that Book of Mormon did somebody some good. Okay, the next time I was going over to Austin, another time. And a lady, it was 3 seats as before, but nobody was sitting in them. And I thought, goodness sakes, it's going to be a long and lonesome trip if somebody doesn't sit down here. About that time, a lady came up and she had a book in her hand, and I said, "Well, I'm glad you're come and sit down." I said, "What are you reading?" "Oh, it's just a novel." And I said, "You should be reading my book." And she says, "Oh, no, I wouldn't be interested in religion. I'm just not religious." And so I thought, well, I won't say very much about my church. I was just telling you, I said, maybe you do a lot of traveling. You've probably met 2 boys, missionary boys. "Oh yes, I've met 2 or 3 of those missionary boys." And I said, I've got a grandson going to Taiwan. It was Chase going to Taiwan on his mission. And I said, our missionary boys go all over the world. And you know, I don't know what I said that interested her, but before she left, she said, "I'd like to have that book, if you don't mind." So.
And also out at the nursing home, Grandma helped to convert or helped to interest somebody in the church out there when Grandpa's in the nursing home, right?
I don't remember which one was that.
Well, there's somebody out there that I know that got baptized. I understand that
Oh,
you.
out here?
Yeah, out there.
I was thinking in the hospital.
No, nursing home.
Oh, yes. Yeah, there was. I had a large print Book of Mormon, and I'd read to him every time I went out there. And quite a few people had asked me what I'm reading, and then we'd just get in a conversation. And first thing you know, and one lady out there said, I've been wanting to know more about the Mormons." So that was my opportunity. I just told her about the Mormons, and she wanted to get baptized.
Wow.
She said she wanted to join the Mormon church.